If you had to replace Kudus and Palmer, bringing Kudus to Chelsea and taking Palmer to West Ham, who do you think would perform well?
I'll pick Kudus any day. Ask me why.
Okay, why?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to Sports Arena. My name is Nana Kwame, and today we are going to delve deep into the title race in the EPL. Who is going to win the EPL? It's going to be Arsenal, it's going to be Liverpool, it's going to be Manchester City. We are going to delve into that. And of course, there's this argument that we started about 2 weeks ago, and we want to finish it today. Who is your signing of the season? There are two names that come into mind, and we are going to delve into that conversation as well. But before that, let me introduce my guest to you. I have Benedict here, and I have... What was your football name again? I have Monday like Francis here. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show.
Thank you,
bro.
Great.
Always a pleasure being in this.
Yeah. Always a pleasure because I get to sit back and watch the banter. Unfortunately, System Boy is not here today.
System Boy, the way I define them for some banter.
No, your System Boy good day.
Saying Palmer better pass more Kudus.
We go enter that
The
conversation.
weekend you see the team where Kudus go do.
The weekend you see what Palmer to do.
Palmer get cheap penalty play put for goal.
You don't worry. Let me remind you that you need to jump on MYBET.AFRICA, and that's where you can get the best odds for every game. They have sports games like roulette, esports, soccer, basketball. All of this is there on MYBET.AFRICA. All you need to do is register, and you have to be 18 years and above, and you're on your way to making some good money there on MYBET.AFRICA.com. Guys, we are going to delve straight into the conversation. If I check the EPL league table, Liverpool is on the top with 67 points. Arsenal is right behind them with 65. And then Man City is behind Arsenal with 64 points. They've all played 29 games each. And then that is where the problem comes. Who is going to win the title? Who is more probable to win the title this season? Let me start with you, Francis. You are really poised and you are heated up for this conversation.
Well, I am an Arsenal fan. Make no mistake about that. Everyone that knows me knows about Arsenal Football Club London. If you look at Arsenal, yes, Arsenal against the other two rivals, which is against Man City and against Liverpool, in that mini league among the trio, Arsenal has garnered the highest number of points against them this season. They managed to pick up 4 points each against the two clubs. That's 8 points in total. So if you look at what people believe in, they think based on that, Arsenal should win the league. But the reason why I will not fancy Arsenal to win this season's league is the fact that Arsenal does not have the pedigree in recent memory to win the English Premier League. The last time they won this league was in 2003-2004 season under Arsene Wenger when they went the entire season undefeated.
Yeah.
Ever since then, Arsenal have come close to winning the league on countless occasions. But in the last moments of the competition, Arsenal has always found a way to bottle the league. Last season, Arsenal went rampage on this same kind of rich vein form. In the latter embers of that season, we saw what happened. Arsenal crumbled. They went to Anfield. In that game, they took a commanding 2-0 lead. In the second half, they bottled. They were on the verge of even losing the game. They ended up 2-2. They went to West Ham, took the 2 goals lead. The same thing, they bottled against West Ham. They came, the team that went on relegation against Southampton at the Emirates. Both home and away, Arsenal couldn't beat Southampton last season. So if you look at that, sandwich it with they going to play against Man City, where Man City basically beat them by 3-1. And then they came back and then lost to Brighton at the Emirates. So Arsenal has these self-destructive tendencies in them of bottling the league in the last hurdle of the season. And if you look at the kind of matches Arsenal still have to play in the last 9 matches, I don't fancy Arsenal because Arsenal will have to go to the London Stadium to play against Tottenham Hotspur. When was the last time Arsenal beat Tottenham away from home in the league? Arsenal will have to go to Manchester United to play at the Theatre of Dreams. Manchester United themselves are fighting to stay in the top 4 so that they can qualify for the Champions League next season. And that match is the second to last for the season for Arsenal. You look at Arsenal, Arsenal has to go to Wolverhampton Wanderers. The top 4 teams, none of them were able to beat Wolverhampton Wanderers at their home this season in the league. Arsenal will have to play Brighton and Hove Albion. So if you look at the permutations, you could tell that in those last 9 matches, Arsenal still have cracking games to play. With all due respect, it's the English Premier League. There are no quote-unquote easy matches. But you know, there are certain banana peel matches that you can go. And if you look at the last 5 seasons, the team that goes on a rampage in its last 10 games always wins the league. Mind you, Liverpool finished the season with 96 points some season ago, and 96 and they never won the league because Manchester City were just too good. They won their last 13 matches on the bounce to win the league. Flip side, you look at Pep Guardiola's team. Do they have experience? Yes. Do they have a gaffer on the bench that has managed to be able to overturn these kind of skirmishes around to win the league? They've done that out of the last 5 seasons. They've done that on 4 occasions in the league. That is Manchester City. It's been over a year now, ever since Rodri has played for Manchester City, that they've lost a league match. That is the statistics, both club and country. Whatever he plays, they don't lose. And now he is fit. The matches that they've lost this season, Rodri didn't play those matches. It's either he's suspended or he's injured. That is it. So do they have the individual players that can be able to drag them around the line and win the games for them? Haaland can win you games on any day. Kevin De Bruyne can win you game on any day. Bernardo Silva can win you game on any day. You understand? John Stones. These are players that can pop up in the heat of the moment. Phil Foden, Julian Alvarez. They can win you matches single-handedly. You look at Arsenal. In this league, it's been proven over the years that the one that wins the league needs to have a clinical and a leader striker that is so deadly in front of goal in the matches. Last weekend, Arsenal played against Manchester City. Arsenal had the clearest chances. And what came back to haunt them? Gabriel Jesus yet again was at the heart of distraction. You see, Guardiola is a smart thinker. People forgot that Guardiola signed Gabriel Jesus and brought him to England. Jesus won about 3 league trophies with Manchester City, sorry.
Yeah.
But Guardiola scanned through him and realized that no, it is my midfielders that are doing the job, not my center forward. I need someone that can be able to win matches for me as a striker. So he looked at Jesus and looked at his all-round play and said, no, he is not the kind of the striker I want. And he was right. He shipped him out, brought in Kevin De Bruyne. Last season, De Bruyne is maiden season in the English Premier League. Basically, won the treble for them, gave them that Champions League trophy that has always been eluding them. And,
you mean Haaland?
Haaland, sorry. And won them the trophy. You understand? Jesus is a striker. Jesus is not a winger. Jesus is not an offensive midfielder. Strikers, if you understand football as a pundit, strikers are measured by the number of goals they score in a season, not the number of tackles you give.
Yeah.
You understand? So people that are using the cloud to say Jesus is always drifting, Jesus is not being brought to Arsenal to come and tackle. He's been brought in to score goals. And so far, he's not doing that. Let me tell you one thing about Jesus. The reason why I always say Jesus is a useless striker.
If they reach, I beg, slow down.
When Mikel Arteta went to Chelsea to go and buy Kai Havertz this season, there was a meltdown in the Arsenal fraternity because we felt like, no, we needed an upgrade on Jesus and Nketiah because to us, lack of clinical striker denied Arsenal the league trophy last season. So we're looking out for Arsenal to recruit a well-proven striker, a goal scorer, someone that can give us about 20 goals in a season. And people say I hate on Arteta. Yes, I do. But I hate on him with some sort of verve. No, if you kick out Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang out of this club, who basically gives Arsenal 20 goals per season, you should be able to replace him with a striker that will give you those 20 goals per season or even better. You don't downgrade to a Gabriel Jesus who has never scored 15 goals in a season before. You don't keep Edward Nketiah who can give you 10 goals in a season. You understand the permutations. So, if based on this, Gabriel Jesus is there, you went to sign Kai Havertz from Chelsea, who we are all fuming that Kai Havertz hasn't scored 15 goals in a season before. Why him? For 60 million. Do you know the reason why people are quiet on Kai Havertz of late? They are quiet because Kai Havertz, who we term as a useless striker, has outscored the strikers that we already have in the team in Jesus and Nketiah. So that basically makes Jesus and Nketiah, the assertion that people have that they are useless, valid. Tell me I'm lying.
But
is it valid or not?
In Jesus' defense,
I'm coming.
He said this season injured.
I'm asking you a question.
And even during the season,
listen.
What you want to hear, you hear from me.
No, listen. Let me tell you.
That Jesus is a useless striker. You hear from. I'm not the one going to say no.
You have Edward Nketiah is there. Then they've gone into the transfer market to sign Kai Havertz. And there was a meltdown. You saw the meltdown on social media.
Yes.
You saw it during matches when Arsenal is playing in the stadium. During Arsenal fan interview and stuff, people were clamoring that this is a no-no, it's a disaster signing. He shouldn't even be in the club at the same time. But now, why have everyone toned down? They've toned down because he has outscored Jesus. He has outscored Edward Nketiah. Let me tell you, if Jesus and Nketiah are good players, even if they are injured, when they recover, they walk back straight into the team. Let me cite your example. Thierry Henry, Ruud van Nistelrooy. To some extent, not to some extent, 100% this thing. Didier Drogba.
Yeah.
When Drogba gets injured and recovers, straight into the starting 11. You understand? There are some players that are undroppable. But Jesus is droppable because he's useless. He is. I'm telling you, against Man City, look at the kind of chances he messed up. And that is the catalyst. And the problem with Arteta is the most clinical strike currently in Arsenal, the most clinical attacking player is Leandro Trossard. He's the only striker we have currently at that club that is double-footed. He doesn't have a weaker foot. And whenever given opportunity, he basically brings his A game on board. He came on for about some 15 minutes in the Man City game. He had a shot on target. You understand? I am telling you that had it been Trossard that had those three of chances that Jesus had, he would have scored one of them. He would have put one of them away with some sort of verve. You understand?
All right. So
my problem here is
let's wrap up.
I am tipping Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool to win the league this season. Because Klopp has pedigree. He has experienced players dotted around the team. And the new additions like Szoboszlai and McAllister, in their last match against Brighton, if you watch that game, it was basically McAllister that drove the team for them to be able to win the game. You understand?
Yeah.
Because he set up an assist look at the assist he gave to the Egyptian king, Mohamed Salah, to win the game for them. So if you look at that tells you that they have the experienced players to win. And if you look at the fixture, the kind of fixture congestion that they have the matches they have are not, except them going to Manchester United, they have favorable matches to be able to navigate their way through.
Okay. But we have to bear in mind that there's no easy game in the EPL. So hopefully we'll see some distractions. I want to see it be messy, actually. I want to see everything will be bazaar. I said something before the show. I just can't say it right now. But pass Arsenal be winning league ni party. Like make this thing.
League insane.
League insane. Anyway, Benedict, your thoughts.
So looking at their fixtures, I'll go for a City to win because with City, their biggest game would be Crystal Palace away. That is one fixture. If anytime City visits Palace, they face a difficult time. The last season, they went there, they were down 2-0 at halftime, and they had to come back to win the game. Looking at City's fixtures, after Crystal Palace, they are going to Luton, Brighton, Nottingham Forest. These are games City would go and just kill their games. Looking at their toughest opponent will be Spurs on the last day. And if they can get to kill these smaller teams before that day, it will be easy on that day for them. But looking at Arsenal, they have the two landing clubs to play against. Chelsea, Tottenham. And Chelsea on a day would play like prime Barcelona to take the title from Arsenal.
We know there's a rivalry between the two of them, yes.
So they will try to mess up the title race for Arsenal. But looking at Liverpool to their side, they have some games that are easy on their side, but there are some games you would look at it. For example, their games against United. There's one game everybody would think Liverpool just walk over United.
Yeah.
But United also have that rivalry with Liverpool, knowing that they need to mess their league title up. After that, they have a West Ham away and Tottenham. West Ham away to Liverpool is also a big game for them. So at least all the three teams are having some bigger fixtures they would go in and suffer. But it will depend on how clinical they would be, as Francis was saying. Because if you are looking at Liverpool, Mohamed Salah is there to give you the goals. Darwin Núñez on a good day will give you the goals. Man City, Haaland is there, De Bruyne will be there. But with Arsenal, they are looking at Kai Havertz now as their top player to look at. Odegaard, Trossard. And these are not clinical strikers. When you need just one goal to win the game, they wouldn't be there for you. But in games, you get Haaland giving you just one goal for you to win. So going into the season, I think from game week 30, 32 going, we'll get to feel the presence of these big clubs, knowing that there are games you'll be playing, you need to go in. If it's a 1-0, you just go in. If you have to play a dirty football to just get a win, you get a win and move on. That's where Man City would come in, because we've seen them do it before.
Yes. All right.
So I tip City to
So you're
win
tipping
the
City
league.
to win the league. Francis is tipping
Liverpool.
Liverpool to win the league. Let us know what you think in the comment section. All you need to do is click that bell on the top, and then you could be one of the first few people to see our videos, comment, and who knows, maybe we'll be doing some giveaways. If your prediction is right, maybe producer will make sure that you get something nice from MYBET.AFRICA.com. Now, another conversation that is quite sad that System Boy is not here, but I'm sure Benedict can be able to hold the fort for us. The argument of who is the signing of the season, and two names come up. I mean, there are numerous names that you can say the signing of the season. I mean, Szoboszlai has been wonderful. McAllister has also been wonderful. But two names pop up. That's Cole Palmer for Chelsea, and then Mohamed Kudus for West Ham. Kudus is our Kingsman. He's a Ghanaian, and he's doing very, very well for West Ham so far. Who has been your signing of the season? As usual, I'm going to start with Fireman Francis. Francis.
Well, my signing of the season for the English Premier League, trust me, like you mentioned, we had some decent players in the league this season that have moved the transition. But if you look at Szoboszlai, he moved from Germany, and then he stepped foot into the English Premier League, which is not easy. The transition period of the league.
Yeah.
You look at McAllister. I will not make any statement for McAllister because he moved from England to England. You understand? From Brighton to Liverpool. It's a step up, though. A lot more is desired of him being a World Cup winner.
Yeah.
But my problem here is people comparing Mohamed Kudus to Palmer. Kudus is my signing of the season. Ask me why. Manchester United went to Ajax some seasons ago, signed Anthony. He's all over the place. He can't even get them 5 goals in a season. He can't even create assists for anybody. And what was the signing on fee? Chelsea went to Benfica and paid the highest fee ever in the history of the English Premier League. For who? Mention his name, the midfielder. Enzo Fernandez. It's not working. Yes, you see, the transition period. Enzo is a very good player. He will come good. You look at somebody like Lavia, he got injured. He come in and you go back. You get it. Moise Caicedo from Brighton. Brilliant player. He moved from England to England. But look at him. He's not look at Christopher Nkunku. Look at Jackson. You understand? So, for Mohamed Kudus, a young chap from West Africa, Ghana, to North Zealand in Denmark, to Ajax, where he wasn't a consistent player under Schroeder, his former manager that got fired.
Yeah.
Kudus has to be giving them attitude here and there before they'll play him. For him to get about 3 months consistently en route to the World Cup, come back and then do his things, then to come to West Ham, where he wanted to go to Brighton, and he realized Brighton were hard nut whenever you want to move away from there. It's not easy to leave. So he decided to let go. Arsenal popped up and then pulled back. Manchester popped up, pulled back, and then he decided to go to West Ham. And for him to step his foot into the English Premier League.
Even Chelsea went sniffing.
Chelsea went.
Yeah, they went sniffing.
And also shocked Chelsea didn't press the green button on him.
Yeah. So what even makes it wonderful is it was actually between him
And
and
Palmer.
Yes.
So you see, Cole Palmer, that they are comparing to Kudus, played all his football in England from under 16, under 17 to under 20 before he went to Manchester City. Right in the Community Shield, the goal the guy scored against Arsenal, everyone knew that this guy is a superstar in the making. It's not by mere fluke that Chelsea paid 60 million for that young chap. You understand?
Yeah.
That tells you that he's very good. And let me get this straight. I am not saying that Cole Palmer is a bad player. He's a very exciting player. Any day, he creates assists and he can pop up with goals. But it is the consistency of what Kudus does in this particular West Ham team. Make no mistake, Chelsea is at where they are. But you can't put Chelsea on par with West Ham. West Ham is always a downgrade on Chelsea.
True.
Chelsea will always be Chelsea. Make no mistake about that. So for Kudus to be doing what he's doing consistently, Kudus this season played how many number of matches for West Ham? Mohamed Kudus is West Ham's this thing, I think second highest goal scorer this season with 13 goals. In terms of total goal involvement, he has about 25 goals or 25 or 26 across every competition. And against Eintracht Frankfurt in the Europa League, look at the kind of caliber of goals the guy scored. Picking the ball deep in front of their penalty box, drove his way through the entire, bulldozed his way through the entire midfield, weave his way through, and finish with a plump. You understand? That put him on par. And last weekend against Newcastle, unfortunately, they lost that game by 4-3. But he was a beast in the game.
Yeah.
He popped up with a goal and assist. You understand? So if you look at Kudus this season, for a young chap he's 20 years, getting to 21. For Kudus to pop up,
Kudus 23.
he's now 23 years.
Yes.
For Kudus to pop up in the English Premier League this season, and for West Ham, for him to do what he's doing, trust me, it is no fluke. And he keeps on playing like that week in, week out. I think he's my player of the season. Nothing can change my mind about that.
Okay, so obviously we all know who Francis
Is
going for. I mean, Kudus. I mean, no, don't get us wrong. These are very good players. Kudus doing fantastic. Even before coming to the EPL, we saw what he did at Ajax, saw what he did at Nordjylland, and we saw what he's even doing for the Black Stars when he's fit and ready to go. But I'm sure Benedict has a different opinion.
Before I start the argument on this thing, I want to ask Francis a question. If you had to replace Kudus and Cole Palmer, bringing Kudus to Chelsea and taking Cole Palmer to West Ham, who do you think would perform well?
I'll pick Kudus any day. Ask me why.
Okay, why?
One, Kudus play in multiple positions.
Okay.
He plays at number 10. He can play as a centre forward because he has done that at Ajax in the Champions League and scored goals. He can play on both flanks. That this season for West Ham, he sometimes plays from the right flank or on the left flank. So he plays in multiple positions. He's good at set pieces and he can pop up with long range shots.
Yeah.
So Kudus is a blockbuster package in itself without bias. You understand?
Okay.
Cole Palmer is an exciting player. Kudus pops up with assist. He has proven that this season. And single-handedly, Kudus can win you games. So in my eyes, the guy sparkles under the limelight when a lot is desired of him.
Okay. So looking at Kudus and Cole Palmer, I brought some stats today. So with Kudus, he has played 26 games in the league, scored 7 goals with 4 assists.
Okay.
And Cole Palmer, 25, 13 goals with 8 assists. People will come up with the argument of he has been scoring penalties, but penalties are not easy to be scored. We know players who stand in front of the goal and they miss penalties. But he has been able to convert most of the penalties. I think all his penalties, he has been able to
He's Chelsea's penalty taker.
Yes, he has been able to convert all. Why I asked you that question is, if I put Cole Palmer in the West Ham team, he would perform better than Kudus is doing.
Why?
Because Cole Palmer naturally, he creates chances. Looking at Kudus' game compared to, there are games, West Ham games, you see Kudus go in and he's missing. But there are Chelsea games when Cole Palmer, I think a game against Middlesbrough, where he was put at the 9th position, he was missing and he affected the Chelsea game, like the whole Chelsea team. But Kudus can be taken out of the West Ham team and the team can still perform. Looking at, I'm coming down to their stats. These are their goals. Looking at Kudus' goals.
I am looking at overall goal.
Yes, I'll come to their
both
overall.
goals and assists.
I'll come to the overall too. So with goals, let's take Cole Palmer's penalties out, which are 5 for the season. He's still beating Kudus when it comes to
With
goals.
how many goals?
With 8 goals. Kudus is on 7. Cole Palmer is on 8 assists. Kudus is on 4 assists. And I'm coming back to looking at their touches per game. Cole Palmer is giving you 83% in a game. Kudus is giving you 59% in a game.
With that, I think it's quite arguable because
Yes.
the both coaches play different
Positions. But when it comes to other stuffs like shots, he talked about shots like Kudus could shoot from afar. Kudus' shot attempts are 77%. Cole Palmer is giving you 94%. So these are 2 different players.
Cole Palmer plays closer to the goal. Make no mistake about that.
Kudus also play closer.
I'm coming.
closer to the goal.
Kudus this season, in most of the matches, most of the matches, if Jared Bowen is playing, now Mikel Antonio is fit, Kudus plays on flanks.
Yeah.
He switched flanks. And with the return of Lucas Paqueta, Paqueta is the central midfielder that plays closer behind the main striker. So if you play behind the main striker, you touch the ball more than someone on the flanks. You understand? It's like the Jorginho rule under Mauricio Sarri. It's like Andrea Pirlo. You understand? It's like Xavi. is like Iniesta. You will touch the ball more.
But this
So
season,
in terms of touching the ball more, Cole Palmer is always gonna touch the ball more than Kudus.
but you talked about Kudus picking the ball and moving with the ball. And Kudus in the West Ham team is, apart from maybe Paqueta, he's the only player who could move the ball quicker. Bowen is not much of a ball carrier.
Yeah.
He's more of a focal point who would get into the box and score. But looking at Cole Palmer, he's even playing at a position where he wasn't naturally bought for. Chelsea brought him in to be like a 10, an attacking midfielder, where he would control the game from that side. But our right side, where Madueke is supposed to cover, is not doing the job well, so he has been shifted there. Why I'm even bringing this stats in is, I'll bring in Jude Bellingham, who we all have seen is one of the best players now when it comes to scoring goals and everything. And looking at Jude Bellingham's shot attempts, Jude Bellingham's touches, Jude Bellingham's goals. Apart from Jude Bellingham's goals, that is at 99%. Apart from that, Cole Palmer is beating him in everything. And Cole Palmer coming into a game, you could see he could stand in and make changes to a game. We saw, I think Pochettino made a comment that when Chelsea are playing a game and they think things are getting difficult, they just pass the ball to Cole Palmer because they know that he could create something.
Yes.
I'm not saying Kudus is a bad player. Kudus has been good. Compared to players who have moved from the Eredivisie into the EPL. Madueke is not performing well. Anthony is not performing well. Who else? Okay.
Julian Timber is injured.
Timber is injured. So those leagues, especially the Eredivisie, the German league, they are a slow type of game where coming into the EPL, everything is quick. And Kudus has been able to adapt to the league so fast. Even when he came in, he was even starting from the bench. He wasn't getting minutes.
And the fans clamor for him to start. They put pressure on
there
the
were even games that he comes in where he plays like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and the game goes to an end.
Yeah.
But Cole Palmer, we all knew that coming from City under Pep Guardiola, there were pundits who were even saying that if Pep Guardiola is letting Cole Palmer go, meaning he's not a player who can reach the higher heights because Pep Guardiola would keep Cole Palmer.
You see, that's a mistake from pundit. Pep Guardiola allowed Cole Palmer to leave because
he wanted
he knew that Phil Foden would play
he has wanted to play ahead of him.
And keeping the ball, he's going to basically destroy the career. That's the same thing Chelsea do to Josh McEachran. You know that player? Brilliant player. He carries the ball well, distributes the ball. The way he reads the game, you understand? So sometimes such players you are supposed to allow. Look at Reece Nelson currently getting rot on the bench of Arsenal. Good winger, but he's there. He's playing against Martinelli and then Leandro Trossard. He can never leapfrog those players. So the best thing for such talent is you allow them to go. Look at the number 10, Arsenal's number 10, Emil Smith-Rowe.
Yeah.
Brilliant footballer. But he's playing against all these other guys that are like world-class players.
Yes.
So it will be difficult for him to play. The best way out for you to help those guys is to sell them. So the best thing Guardiola did for the boy is to allow him to go. And he didn't go cheap. 60 million is not a joke.
Easy for
No,
an academic graduate. Yeah. I think 45 million.
Plus add-ons.
Yes, but it wasn't up to 60.
With him, he said that the Chelsea project looked good for him. That's why he moved. And he got to know that coming to Chelsea.
I'm not cutting you. Look at a player like Mikhailo Mudryk. 100+ million. So, you know, who knows what he's doing is not a fluke, bro.
No, nobody's saying that.
The adaptation in the English Premier League is extremely difficult.
Nobody's saying that.
There have been players who came from the...
Look at Alexis Sanchez. From Barcelona to Arsenal. In his first 6 months, he was off. He was playing Carabao Cup.
But we've seen players who didn't do on their first season, but their second
Look at
season,
Timo Werner.
There have been players who has even come from the academy down like to the main team, but they are not performing.
Exactly.
So Cole Palmer, even moving to Chelsea, this Chelsea team is disjoint. Everything, you don't know what Chelsea are even doing now because it's like they are looking for experience. Next season, they're going to bring in experience to try and blend. They are thinking of keeping the young guys and bringing in maybe Osimhen to try and get the goals. So coming into this Chelsea season, and even at this moment, if you are looking at players under 21 years or players within the age of 21 and below, Cole Palmer is on the same level of goals, like there are goals and assists with Jude Bellingham. And we are all praising Jude Bellingham to like Ballon d'Or level. But Cole Palmer is doing this in a Chelsea team which are on 11th position. I'm not saying Kudus is bad. Kudus is one of the top players. If you look at even in the EPL, when we are looking at dribbling, he's number 1 now. And he's good. My prayer is he could move
I think he has the most take-ons as well.
Take-ons too. So he could move to a bigger club like Man United, Man City, the Chelsea, the Arsenal, and we'll see double figures. But the West Ham team, maybe he's not getting the chance to show what he's supposed to get, or positions he feels
basically,
like he wants
Kudus
to play.
in the last 5 months has proven that the team is revolving around him.
Currently.
Initially, it was Paqueta until he got injured. But when he got injured, Kudus stepped up. And in the match against West Ham, you saw what he did. He was a beast. They were finding it difficult to cope with him. 1v1 in front of him, you are dead. He'll finish you. So it was the defensive frailties of West Ham that came back to haunt them in that game yet again. And against Everton, against Tottenham Hotspur, like we saw, it's the defensive part of their game that disturbs them. But in terms of going forward, the strikers have goals in them. Paqueta, Kudus, Bowen, Antonio, those guys on any given day with the right services will always pop up with the goals for them. So I think Kudus finding himself in a mid-table team, but he is punching above the weight to be able to put himself in that pecking order with the big boys of the league.
Yeah.
And I think it's only a matter of time that the big boys, because even the Manchester United legend like Peter Schmeichel and co,
they all sing his praises, yeah.
They question the decision by Ten Hag. If he really knows these guys and coach them, why will you go in for Anthony and leave Mohamed Kudus? Because they feel like it was a blunder for him to be able to mix up. And I feel all those who went in and then draw back will now be cursing themselves and be saying, why didn't we just press the green button to get this guy into our team?
Personally, as a Chelsea fan, I feel very, very dumb.
We going for
Yes. No, I'm just saying that. I mean, we could have still went ahead to get someone like Kudus.
Because when he moved, when the Brighton deal collapsed, we all knew this boy was almost going to Chelsea.
Yes.
But the truth was, if Kudus was to be at Chelsea, we wouldn't have seen him this way.
Kudus is a whole.
Well,
let me tell you,
Chelsea
you
team.
let me tell you one thing.
You can't predict that.
Chelsea team.
See, let me tell you one thing.
Problem.
Mohamed Kudus is being molded in that European kind of a player. He's an African. The boy has some sort of mental toughness. He's self-motivated.
Yes.
He doesn't give up easily. So if you look at his game, he had the same training as Adingra. He has the same training as Kamaldeen Suleimana. He has the same training as Enes Miyama. Why is he exceptional among those players? He motivates himself. He sees himself as if I can be the better version of who I am currently.
And that's the reason why I said that.
You understand?
He in the Chelsea team could have made a difference, because you need
pressure.
Players, yes, you need players that have that mental strength. I mean, go back into the issue of Chelsea. We have players who were already self-motivated from the bench.
Like Drogba.
Drogba is coming to come in.
Let me give you one example with this Kudus issue is Nicolas Jackson. We also saw Nicolas Jackson in preseason. He was sharp. But the Chelsea team is not performing. And you wouldn't get players to
the reason why
the
reason why the Chelsea team is not performing is because of the same Nicolas Jackson. Let me tell you.
Then that means we are looking at Nicolas Jackson. If Nicolas Jackson was clinical,
Mikel Obi said something in his podcast. He said during their time, they know that when they transit the ball well into the attacking third, Joe Cole, Anelka, and Didier Drogba, be it any two of them being paired to play on a day, the moment you get the correct transition for them into the attacking channels, you are sure that they'll score. So the team had confidence. All they had to do is to defend and transit the ball to those players. The current Chelsea team does not have they don't have the confidence in the strikers.
That I agree.
And I'm telling you this.
I agree.
You see, sometimes in argument, you might like a player, but you look at the facts of the argument.
It's not about liking Jackson.
We'll have to win you matches.
We'll then have to put a brakes on this particular conversation, but it looks like a conversation we have to take to another time. But personally, I do agree with Francis on that one. I don't see Nicolas Jackson as that guy who has the confidence of the midfielders and the defenders.
I'm telling you,
it's a real case of one Embrema Nako Saibo.
No, when Jackson he came for the AFCON. You saw Chelsea struggling. Our link-up play was a bit off. Why Jackson?
That's because there's no other person.
He left, Chelsea the way it is and came back to meet Chelsea the way it is.
Why
in the same position?
Why Jackson? We saw Jackson in preseason banging in goals.
See,
but
you don't have a case for Jackson as of today. Fine, he might change. Because even Didier Drogba, in his first season, he scored a total of 15 goals. And people question Mourinho, why him? In second season, he came good. Then from there, he never looked back until he left. So if Jackson can come through that particular kind of way of doing things, fine.
But this
We've seen
season,
strikers in the league. Emmanuel Adebayo had the same. Thierry Henry had the same when he moved from Juventus to Arsenal. You understand? Robin van Persie. So it's a problem. You understand? It depends on Chelsea as a club. If they will have that mojo, if they will have that patience, you have to wait for Jackson to come good. Then there is nothing that can be taken away from. And it's up to the player to change.
All right, we are definitely going to continue,
let
Benedict.
me just put this thing in
Go ahead,
context. With this Jackson issue, Drogba came to Chelsea in his first season, had 15 goals. And Jackson now is having more goals in his first season than DJ Drogba.
If we this thing, I don't want here.
No, wait.
You see,
In Didier Drogba's time, in Didier Drogba's time,
bro, that one there, you can.
in
It's not an
Didier
excuse.
Drogba's time, there was no social media to put pressure
But
on
we
him.
were following the English Premier League.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to
This
have
is
this
a whole
conversation
new
some other
generation.
time. But thank you so much. It's been great having you tune into this particular channel on YouTube, MYBET.AFRICA TV. And of course, we always have the best of content for you, especially sports content. When we have Fireman Francis here, when we have Benedict here, and System Boy, who is currently missing in action. Thank you so much for watching the show today. Don't forget that you can stake your bets on MYBET.AFRICA TV, the best betting platform in the whole wide world. In the whole wide world. Senior one. Yeah. best betting platform in the whole wide world. So make sure you register on their platform. Make sure you're 18 years. And remember that they're regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. As we come your way, same time with another mind-busting sports content. Have a great day.